Hey, this is the national treasure, Nick Aldis, and you're listening to the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, and we are your host. He's a stallion. I'm the enforcer, and we are officially on the road to WrestleMania this weekend, starting off with the WWE Royal Rumble, everybody's favorite event of the year. This year, a little bit different, man. We have no crowd. We have no countdown with the crowd. It's a little bit weird, but I'm still excited for the Royal Rumble, Joe. You know what else I'm excited for?
The piped-in crowd noise for the countdowns for each Rumble entrant?
Nope. Ricky fucking Morton, Joe. One half of the greatest tag team of all time, the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Morton and his son, Kerry Morton, joined our podcast earlier this week, and it was I don't even know the word, Joe. It was a memorable experience. Something about, you and I spoke about it afterwards. Sitting here listening to Ricky Morton tell a story about causing a riot with Ric Flair in Charlotte, North Carolina, in front of 50,000 fans, like just sitting there and being like, holy shit, this guy lived the life, man. It was, I don't know about you, man, but it was something, and it was definitely something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime anyone gets to have a conversation with a legend in the wrestling business, whether it's in an interview form like this, or even if you get to go to an autograph signing or something and meet some of these guys over the years that you've watched growing up, it's always interesting just to even have a few words with them and hear some of their stories, or interact with fans. And Ricky and his son were both very gracious enough to come on with us, and they were very nice to us, obviously, and generous, and it was just really cool guys to talk to. I mean, if they weren't famous and Ricky wasn't a legend in the business, you would, like any other normal person out there, right? So it was great to have him on the show.
He met his wife because she made a good cornbread. That would get me, man. I'm a sucker for that. But it was such a cool experience. We thank him again and his son so much. So Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton, don't sleep on his son, man. Kerry Morton, the kid's 19 years old. I just watched, 19 years old. Joe, remember what it was like being 19?
No, I blacked that out of my memory.
Yeah, me too. I was fat. Anyway, I just watched Kerry Morton versus Crazy Steve and James Storm on YouTube. The kid's got a bright future. He's trained by some of the best in the world. And depending on when you're listening to this podcast, we're recording it right now, Friday, January 29th, 6 o'clock p.m. 2 hours from now, Game Changer Wrestling kicks off with Game Changer Wrestling's Fight Forever on YouTube for free. I would not do the show justice. It's a 24-hour wrestle-a-thon, whatever you want to call it. 12 different shows, 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon, 440, hashtag fuck Ohio. Ricky Shane Page and Atticus are taking on our friends, Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton. Make sure you go check it out. The All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are sponsoring that. And Joe, we could not have picked a better match to sponsor, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. Like you said, 24 hours straight of pro wrestling, and they're going to be wrestling on Saturday afternoon. But people should check out the live stream on YouTube, completely free. Everyone can just go check out all the great matches that they have going on over the weekend.
Yeah, Kai McKenna, who we just had on the show, is going to be there on Alley Cat's Hot Girl Shit, wrestling Holly Dead. It's going to be a good weekend. But alas, I want to let everybody know, too, if you hear some coughing, wheezing, or even maybe a loud beeping sound that is like a life alert, it's just Joe. Joe is do you still have it, Joe? Joe is recovering from COVID, or still has COVID. I don't know.
Never got tested, so
no.
We'll just assume.
Yeah, the hashtag testing is for pussies. I'm just kidding. Don't get mad at me about that. So Joe and I kicked off 2020 with COVID. Joe kicked off 2021 with COVID. Frankly, it's going to be a good year because, I heard once you get it, you'll never get it again. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to walk around and spit in other people's mouths, which is good because you said you were going to take up dipping because you love Skinner. So this is all something you could be doing in 2021.
Yeah, and I drank a lot of Clorox the last week or so. So I'm pretty sure I'm over it. If not completely over it, I'm very close. So.
Yeah, or almost dead. At this rate, tomato, huh?
One way or the other, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're not dead and you're going to make it to this weekend, then you'll be watching Royal Rumble. We're gonna have our best bets this week's our Royal Rumble predictions. There's one match on the card. I'm just kidding. There's 5 matches right now. Joe's got the card in front of him. He's got everything. He's the man with the plan, the man behind the guy behind the guy, behind the guy, behind the girl, right? How you doing? So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the card. I'm going to give you the betting odds because you could bet on this, Joe, at bet.ag. I'm sorry, betonline.ag. We are giving you the lines directly from that website. So if you hear us, whatever it is at 6 p.m. Friday night is what the odds are. They're going to change. They always do. They start out one way, and then as the show gets closer, who knows? But I'm a sucker for gambling. I'm not so invested in the pay-per-view, unfortunately, but gambling on it makes me invested. This is why I bet on kids t-ball, because I don't like watching t-ball, but I like winning and losing money, Joe. So that's what we're going to do this weekend.
Yeah, I think the Rumble pay-per-view itself is usually always a fun watch. I mean, sometimes the Rumbles vary. Sometimes they're very good. Sometimes they're subpar. But I think one of the things in recent years is we don't always seem to know who the winner is going to be. Like usually a lot of years in the past, you go into it and be like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's going to be, Stone Cold, or it's going to be, The Rock, or you can kind of figure out who's going to win, or, one or two people. But I think in recent years, especially since they added the Women's Rumble to the show, you're not always able to figure it out like automatically. And that's probably in part because they don't have a lot of long-term booking anymore. But either way, it's just as a byproduct of that, it's kind of up for grabs. So there are 5 matches.
Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you see they're going to announce the first and second entrants in the Women's Rumble and the 30th entrant of the Men's Rumble?
Yeah, on the famed WWE backstage show that's supposed to be returning over this coming weekend.
Dude, that sucks. I'm sorry. Like the first and second entrants, are
Buster and Hunter. Is that your first and second?
What a segue. Yeah, Buster and Hunter are actually the first and second. Looks like Hunter was first. Buster just busted in the door.
Spoiler alert.
So that's wait for it. Oh, you hear that, right? His music hits. I'm okay with the first and second, but the 30th, like, there's so much anticipation that goes into the 30th. Buster's wearing a jacket too, so it's very, very loud. There's so much anticipation that goes into the 30th spot in the Royal Rumble. Like, oh, is it somebody coming back? But no, not like that. Remember that one year? You'll probably know what it was. Everybody thought it was going to be a surprise going like there, or maybe it was CM Punk was going to come back, but everybody knew Rey Mysterio was still like to be left in the Rumble. And once 29 came out, it's like, well, fucking 30 sucks. Now we know it's going to be Mysterio. Don't tell us what number 30 is going to be. That's lazy, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I forget which year it was. It might have been. Oh man, I think it was the year that everyone was expecting. It might have been 2014. Everyone was expecting Daniel Bryan to enter at 30 after he had wrestled on the first match and lost to Bray Wyatt. They all thought he was going to enter the Rumble and win, and then go on to WrestleMania. And no, that didn't happen. So it turned out Rey Mysterio was number 30, and everybody booed him out of the building because they wanted Daniel Bryan. So that was that. I think that's the one you're thinking of, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Well, we're going to know who number 30 is by the time the Rumble starts. But let's get to the show, man. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
For the 5,000 people that watch WWE Backstage. Yeah, so 5 matches on this card, 3 title matches, and the 2 Rumbles. So we'll start with the Women's Tag Team Championships. It is Charlotte Flair and Asuka defending against former champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. In terms of betting odds, Jax and Baszler are a minus 200 favorite right now, and the champions, Asuka and Charlotte, are at a plus 150 right now as the underdog.
Oh, God, this sucks. Oh, man. Well, it depends. Is Nia Jax going to murder Asuka like she did to Dana Brooke on Monday when she didn't protect her on that powerbomb and she put her through the mat like it was All Japan Pro Wrestling in 1988?
I don't see any prop bets here at the moment for Nia Jax murdering people in the match, but perhaps maybe it's too easy of a bet, so maybe they don't even have it on the board.
Probably like a minus 450. I'm going to go with Nia Jax and Shayna because I feel like Ric Flair and Lacey Evans are going to have a kerfluffle, causing Charlotte to take the pin here.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Jax and Baszler. I think that my guess is that the women's titles are going to go into another like multi-team match at WrestleMania in a couple of months. And not that there still isn't time to get there, but I don't know that there's much purpose in the titles being on Asuka and Charlotte right now. So I see them losing, and then they'll probably be involved in singles programs after this. So I'm going to go with
I forgot they were champions. There's no way, like, if you polled 10 WWE casuals right now, how many would find out they're the champions? How many would guess that
Flair and Asuka are the champions. I mean, probably only people that watch every week. I mean, if you don't watch every week to know, or at least every pay-per-view, then you wouldn't know that they're the champions because they don't always appear together.
Yeah, that's so weird. I forgot about that. But yeah, all right. So
let's
making
go.
some money with the underdogs there.
The favorites.
Oh, they were. I'm
The
sorry.
challengers are the favorites. Yeah. So let's go to the SmackDown Universal Championship match. It is Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens. Heavy favorite here for the big dog. He is a minus 2,000, and Kevin Owens is a plus 650 as we speak.
Let me ask you something as a master of a better. Miz is your Money in the Bank kind of guy, right? He's holding the Money in the Bank title. Let's say everybody bets on Roman, everybody bets on Kevin Owens, and the Miz comes in, cashes in mid-match, and wins the match. Everybody that bet on Roman and Owens are screwed, right?
I think there's like I think the bet would be off at that point, if I'm not mistaken, because there's no choice of non-finish.
That's why it's from wrestling. It's like, that's tough. Like, how do you do that? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the big dog, Big Dizzle, Roman Reigns. The Kevin Owens stuff, from what I read, it's pretty cool, but I don't think anybody's taking the title off of Roman just yet. So,
yeah, just to add, it's a last man standing match. I'm not sure if that makes any difference to you, but it is a last man standing match. And I agree. I don't see any way that Kevin Owens is going to walk out of here as Universal Champion. I don't know exactly what they have planned for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but I have to imagine that he'll still be the champion at that point. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns as well. Let's go over to the Raw Men's Championship. It's a WWE Championship. It is Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against apparently the number one contender for the WWE title, Hall of Famer Goldberg. Goldberg is challenging for the WWE Championship on Sunday at the Royal Rumble. And if you're wondering what the odds are, because I know I am, let's pull it up here real fast for you. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I have him up, but go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Drew McIntyre, the favorite, at minus 400. My eyes are blurry. And Goldberg, plus 350.
$100 to make $350 and your money back, baby. Going on Goldberg. Old Goldberg is taking the belt from Drew McIntyre Sunday night. That's my prediction, Joe. It's going to be about... I think the money would be like a prop bet over under 3.5 minutes. Goldberg was breathing. I saw clips of Monday Night Raw. He delivered one spear. The man looked like he had just swam the ocean. He's not really in ring shape. Was Goldberg ever really in ring shape? He's an older guy. Like, he looks great. He looks fantastic for his age. But I'm going with Goldberg here in a 3-minute squash-a-rooney. I'm making money on Goldberg, baby.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I mean, certainly the match is not going to be long. I think that's almost guaranteed. I just assumed or thought Goldberg was going to win because that's what they do. But the idea of watching him just destroy Drew McIntyre, who they've spent pretty much a year building around on Raw, would really be like wildly depressing. So I'm going to go with Drew to win somehow and retain. And maybe they'll do something with Goldberg at WrestleMania where he'll get to squash somebody, or they'll wait until they're allowed to go back to Saudi Arabia and he'll beat somebody there. But, I know he beat Kevin Owens a few years ago, but Owens was a heel champion. They were clearly building towards Lesnar and Goldberg, right? The Fiend stuff from last year, I think, was a lot worse because the Fiend was a kind of a hot act at that point, had just not had the title for a couple of months, and they just cut off his momentum right away. I can't I can't imagine that the way that they booked McIntyre the last year that they would have him lose in 3 minutes, but it's definitely possible. So I'm not putting anything past them. But I'm going to officially go with Drew, but I do think that Goldberg as an underdog bet is probably a good play if you're looking to make some cash back.
Okay. Next up, what do we got?
Women's Rumble. The Women's Royal Rumble is next. I can list out the entrance for you, and then we can just go on odds, whatever you're interested in.
I'm sorry, I just looked at you said Women's Rumble's next, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Women's Rumble.
Can I just list one of my favorite odds that I just saw?
Yeah.
Sarah Logan at plus 6,600.
Yeah.
Isn't she like 9 months? She's 9 months pregnant, right?
Not officially in the match.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Here's the official entrance for the match. Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Tamina. Those are the entrants that have been listed. That is 12 out of the 30 that will be in the match.
That's all they have. Wow. That is surprising. Okay.
Yeah. So bear in mind SmackDown is tonight, so maybe something will happen on there, but I doubt it. Not much. But those are the 12. Would you like me to go first on this one?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So this one, I'm actually going to go chalk in terms of the odds because I really do want to see Bianca Belair win this Rumble. I think it would be good for them to elevate somebody new. She has a WWE Chronicle or something coming out on the network, I think like that night or maybe soon after that. And I personally would like to see her and Sasha Banks in a title match. It would be a fresh feud, at least, on the main roster. So Bianca Belair is currently plus 150. She is the betting favorite. Now I'm going to go with Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
She had a great showing last year in the Rumble. She kind of stood out very well. She got some eliminations, but she had a chance to shine for a large portion of it. And then in typical fashion, she fell off the face of the earth. I'm going a little other end of the spectrum. I'm going with Rhea Ripley, the former NXT Women's Champion. Rumors of her coming up to the quote-unquote main roster. They do have NXT wrestlers in the Rumble. They don't traditionally have NXT wrestlers win the Rumble, but I think a display for Rhea Ripley here would be important because last year she lost to WrestleMania. She lost to Charlotte, and a triple threat match. Am I crazy?
She lost to Charlotte in a one-on-one match at last year's WrestleMania.
Okay, yeah. So and then the triple threat match was the following NXT. Got it. Or whatever it was. Yeah, I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley here, and I think Rhea Ripley versus Sasha Banks also has legs, as the kids say. So that's...
Rhea Ripley plus 550 for those who are going to be placing their bets.
If you want a long shot, throwing this out there, Stephanie McMahon plus 15,000.
I knew you were going to go. I knew that was going to happen.
I mean, Piper Niven plus 8,000. I still like Sarah Logan at plus 6,600 with baby. Got a little bit extra weight. It's gonna be tough to get her over the rope. $10, baby. $10 goes a long way.
Money well spent. It seems like. All right.
Center of gravity because the baby's here, so it's tough to.
The men's Royal Rumble match. So the betting. Okay, hang on. Let me list out the entrance. I don't want.
Vince McMahon is plus 25,000.
I know. Let's look at that.
The money's on Vince.
17 announced names. Okay, 17 announced names. Daniel Bryan, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Otis. Remember Otis? The Miz, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali, and Edge. Those are the 17 announced entrants into the Royal Rumble so far.
You want me to go first, huh?
Either way, I mean, I can just start throwing. So the betting favorite is Daniel Bryan. He's plus 100 right now.
I was gonna go. Yeah, I'm going with the chalk, as the kids say here. I'm going with easy money. Not Chris Hamrick, Julio De Niro, easy money. Daniel Bryan, easy money. I think he's the way to go. Daniel Bryan is the guy that's been putting over everybody on SmackDown. He's had some great matches. Cesaro, I forget who else he wrestled a couple weeks ago, but Daniel Bryan's working. He's at the end of his career in the WWE. It seems like the least you could do is give the guy the Rumble win. So I'm going with Daniel Bryan as I'm getting work messages.
Sounded like a Microsoft Teams message that you received right there.
You know it, buddy. WFH all day.
Well, here's the thing. So yeah, I understand. Yeah, the Daniel Bryan thing. I think he's been a favorite, or at least the betting favorite, for a little while now. So it seems like, barring a last minute change or maybe information leaking out over the weekend, that is the current plan. I personally am just to be a little bit different, and because I'm not particularly sold on them giving him this win here, I'm going to go with Edge. And I say that because I'm just trying to picture in my head where the direction of, what was that face? Edge? You don't like Edge? Who doesn't like Edge?
I like Edge. I just the youth movement of the WWE isn't exactly. I mean, listen, we have fucking Goldberg there. You might as well. Edge just thrice the wrestler that Goldberg is, and like, go ahead.
Well, my hope is that Drew retains the title on this show, and that if Edge wins the Rumble, then maybe it'll be Edge against Drew at WrestleMania. And I think that would actually be a pretty decent match, just based off the type of worker that Edge is. McIntyre being in his prime, I think they can have a pretty good match at Mania. And if you put Drew over Edge, it gives him, he'll beat Goldberg in January, he'll beat Edge in April. It gives him much more, momentum. Now, I don't know what they do with him after that. Maybe he would end up maybe he would lose to Edge. I don't know, but that's what I'm hoping to see. So I'm going with Edge. Edge is plus 200, so he's the second favorite for the match.
Let me throw something out to you real quick. If Edge wins the match and Goldberg wins the title, you want to risk Edge's life in the ring with Goldberg at WrestleMania?
Spear versus spear, bro. That's what we're gonna do. Spear versus spear. Anyways, I feel bad for some of the people in the match, namely Jeff Hardy. Why? Plus 5,000. Same odds as Conor McGregor. I feel like that's not a good indication of your chances of winning this match. Is if you have the same odds as Conor McGregor, that's not good. The Miz also plus 5,000.
You know who else is plus 5,000 that should win the fucking Rumble? Walter. That would be unbelievable. Have Goldberg beat Drew. Walter wins the Rumble. Walter squashes Goldberg at WrestleMania. And you have a new, more athletic Andre the Giant.
Some places to maybe win a lot of money. Triple H plus 8,000. The Undertaker plus 8,000. Not out of the realm of possibility, I feel like, either of those.
Or Shane, to be honest with you, plus 12,500.
Yeah. Those are all out there, I think.
Stone Cold plus 10,000.
How about The Miz plus 5,000? How about this? I heard this on another podcast, so I'm lifting it from them. So I don't want it's on Wrestle Talk Television. Anybody watching that? All right. Somebody came up with the idea of, what if The Miz wins the Royal Rumble and has 2 title opportunities in his pocket between the Money in the Bank and the Royal Rumble, and challenges Drew McIntyre at the WrestleMania rather, with his Rumble win, and then cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Roman Reigns in the same show.
I think that's the worst fucking idea I've ever heard in my life.
Trying to get creative here, man. There's been some sort of rumor about a dark path plan that people, I think WrestleVotes is the Twitter handle, where like there's some like crazy, terrible idea that is floating around that may or may not actually happen. I don't know what that is. Hulk Hogan is not listed on these.
That's BK's guy, right? That was BK's pick.
Yeah, I mean Hogan versus Drew. I know that was something that BK did bring that up. Our friend BK. So I don't know. Tyson Fury plus 5,000. I don't know. These things are possibilities, I have to say. So there's some long shots I think that people could go for. But officially, I'm going to go with Edge because he's actually in the match, and I think he has a possibility of actually winning and being in a high-profile match at the 2-night WrestleMania coming up in April.
Oh, there we have it. What's your lock of the night? What's your best bet, Joe? What's your lock?
Well, I think the lock for me is, even though the odds are still pretty high in terms of how much money you'd win back, I have to go with Roman. I feel like he's the only match on this card that I feel like 100% confident or close to it is that one. I'm pretty sure that the women's tag titles will change hands, but I mean, who knows? When Charlotte's involved, there's always a possibility of her winning. So, but that's mine. That's mine. What about you?
Lock of the night, Oldberg, baby. GOLD Berg plus 350, $100 to make you $350 plus your $100 back. Listen, you want to walk around with some extra cash? Money's on Goldberg. He doesn't come back to do jobs. He doesn't sell. He doesn't do jobs. He's like Cuomo, right? We had to go. But yeah, I think that's where the money is, man. Plus 350, I'm surprised he's that much of a dog. But it's Goldberg's world, man. We're just living in it. And I hope, what if Goldberg wins and Miz cashes in on it? There's so many options, man. But it's all Goldberg, baby. It's all gravy.
Well, as Goldberg says, the current roster is soft. SAWFT, soft. So he should be able to win pretty easily on Sunday based off of that.
Yeah, I mean, Undertaker said it too, but Undertaker's got a little more street cred than Goldberg. Although Goldberg did almost murder himself on TV when he put his hand through a plate glass. Actually, it was a windshield, right? Or whatever it was on Thunder.
He almost murdered the Undertaker at the Saudi Arabia show last year, a year or two ago also. So,
Who do you think would win in a shoot fight, Goldberg or Nia Jax?
Goldberg.
I'm not sure about that one. Regardless, we're going to be watching. Probably not like the whole thing. Maybe like a highlight package or something like that afterwards, or maybe just read the results. I'm not sure. But no, it's a Royal Rumble. I'm gonna be watching the Royal Rumble. I'm looking forward to it. I always like the surprises. I'm such a mark for that stuff, and I think that's okay. Again, make sure everybody checks out wrestling this weekend, Royal Rumble. But if you want to check out something free, go to YouTube, watch Game Changer Wrestling. They have an Indiegogo set up. Watch that. #Fight Forever. Donate to the wrestlers that are out there doing their thing. 100% of the proceeds of that show go to the wrestlers. We're pulling for Ricky and Carrie Morton. We'll be tweeting, like I said, 24 hours of wrestling. I'm not going to be up watching the whole thing. I'm sure you're going to watch some of it tonight. I'll be watching most of it tomorrow. But follow along with us everywhere at All Night Long WP. And if you're a historian like we are and you like professional wrestling, go to the archive, check out our wrestling headlines on YouTube, and watch our interview with Ricky Morton and Carrie Morton. It was absolutely fascinating stuff. But that's it for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. He is your host. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer, and we're tapping out.
Now, with the best friends.